Tonie McDade, Ayanna Dior, Monica Diamond, Nina Pop, Dana Martin, Ashanti Carmen, Claire Lagado, Malaysia Booker, Michelle Tamika Washington, Harris Cameron, Chyna Lindsay, Chanel Skurlock, Zoe Spears, Brooklyn Lindsay, Denali Berry Stuckey, Kiki Fantroy, Pebbles Ladime Doe, Bailey Reeves, B. Love Slater, Itali Marlowe, Breanna B.B. Hill.
Hello and good morning. My name is Savonne Pearson, and I'm making this video because I am so tired of social media right now. It seems like every time I go on social media and I see someone posting Black Lives Matter, I get all excited. I'm like, yeah, Black Lives Matter. And then the next post they post, they're talking about how Dwayne Wade needs to tell his son that he needs to get in check. Now, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, either if that's you posting it or some of your friends, but I'm here to say there's no either or. When you say Black Lives Matter, that means trans lives, that means lesbian lives, that means gay lives, that means everybody. Non-binary lives, that means all Black lives matter. So as you watch this video, I want you to please remember that all of these Black lives matter just as much as the straight Black lives that we see in the media. Tonie McDade. A Black transgender man was killed in Tallahassee, Florida on May 27th by police. His friends and family shared how he was an energetic, giving person with a big heart. Ayanna Dior was brutally beaten and attacked by a black mob because of a fender bender. This can all be seen in a viral video. Monica Diamond, 34, a Black transgender woman, was killed in Charlotte, North Carolina on March 18th. She was active in the Charlotte LGBTQ and nightlife community and was co-owner of an event promotion company. She was also the co-CEO of the International Mother of the Year Pageantry System, a pageant that honors LGBTQ mothers. She was shot several times in the back of an ambulance. Nina Pop, a Black transgender woman, was killed in Sikeston, Missouri on May 3rd. She was deeply loved by her family, friends, and community, according to her Facebook page. Dana Martin, a Black trans woman, was found shot to death in her vehicle in a roadside ditch about 11 p.m. Sunday, January 6th in Montgomery, Alabama. She was shot while driving, and as of January 10th, police continue to investigate but have no leads. Ashanti Carmen, a Black trans woman, was shot and killed around 6:30 a.m. on Saturday, March 30th in Prince George County, Maryland. The day of her death, the eve of International Transgender Day of Visibility, made her murder poignant for the international trans community. Her history of survival sex, which she had relied on since her becoming homeless at the age of 16, and the location of her murder, popular sex worker and transgender local Eastern Avenue, makes her death a likely instance of violence against sex workers. There are currently no leads on the shooting. Claire Lagado, 21, a Black trans woman, was shot in the head on Monday, April 15th after an argument broke out between her mother and the suspect in Cleveland, Ohio. She was taken to a local hospital where she died from her injuries on May 14th. The suspect was charged by the authorities with Claire Lagado's murder, and an arrest warrant was issued for Booth. Malaysia Booker, 23, a Black trans woman, was found shot and killed after a 6:40 a.m. shooting report call Saturday, May 18th. Dallas, Texas, at a Pension Park golf course. There are currently no leads in the shooting. The shooting came just over a month since a nationally viral video showed Booker for being publicly beaten and called slurs on the 12th of April. Police currently have no ties to connect the previous assailant to her late murder. Less than a month before her death, she spoke publicly saying, "This time I can stand before you," whereas in other scenarios were at a memorial. On June 5th, 2019, a suspect was arrested by the Dallas police and charged with 3 counts of murder, including the murder of Malaysia Booker. Michelle Tamika Washington, aka Michelle Simone, 40, a Black trans woman and longtime transgender rights advocate, was fatally shot in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, neighborhood of Franklinville on Sunday, May 19th, shortly after 5 a.m. Police responded to several shots fired and found Washington had been shot several times, at which she was taken to Temple University Hospital, where she was pronounced dead upon arrival. A suspect in her murder has been arrested. Paris Cameron, 20. A black trans woman was shot in Detroit, Michigan on Saturday, May 25th, Memorial Day weekend, along with 2 cisgender individuals. She was taken in critical condition to a local hospital where she was pronounced dead. Eyewitnesses report gunshots freaking out after arguments being heard from the house all the victims were in, after which numerous people fled onto the street. Police have arrested a suspect in relation to the murder. Chyna Lindsay, 26, a black trans woman, was found in White Rock Lake, Dallas, Texas at 5:45 p.m. on Saturday, June 1st. She is the second trans murder in Dallas, Texas in 2019, following Malaysia Booker just 2 weeks before. The city was celebrating annual Pride Festival on the same weekend. Lindsay's body was discovered only a mile from where Booker's body was discovered. The Dallas police have asked the FBI to assist with the investigation. Her death brings the currently unsolved trans homicide cases in Dallas to 4 as of June 2019. On June 20th, 2019, the Dallas police arrested a suspect who has been charged with the murder of her. Chyna Lindsay, 23, a black trans woman, was found shot and killed just after midnight in Lumberton, North Carolina on Wednesday, June 5th, by Robeson County Sheriff's deputies. Her family indicated she had planned to meet up with the owner of a Facebook page with media content of her. Friends and activists confirmed Skurlock identified as a trans woman, however, she had been misgendered and dead-named by local media, and even referred to as a gay man by her mother in local reports. While the Robeson County Sheriff Bernice Wilkins has indicated that they have strong leads in the investigation, his office asked for public assistance regarding the case. On the 11th of June, police arrested a suspect on charges of first-degree murder and robbery with a dangerous weapon in the killing of Chyna Skurlock. Zoe Spears, 23, a black trans woman, was shot and killed in Fairmount Heights, Maryland, a suburb of Washington, D.C., on Thursday, June 13th. The murder occurred just a few blocks from where earlier in March 2019, Ashanti Carmen was murdered, what we talked about earlier. Prince George County Police Major Brian Riley said, "At this point in the investigation, there is no direct link that we see at this point, but that is obviously something we are monitoring very closely." Carmen and Spears knew each other and were part of a close group of sex workers in the area. 2 weeks after her death, police arrested a suspect, indicted on murder charges, first degree, for the killing of Zoe Spears. Breanna Lindsay, 32, a black trans woman, was found shot and killed in front of an abandoned building in Kansas City, Missouri on Tuesday, June 25th. Kansas City Police Department announced Lindsay had received multiple gunshots and facial trauma. Her body was discovered around 6:30 a.m. Neighbors reportedly heard an argument and gunshots around 2:30 a.m. at the abandoned residence at the 600 block of Spruce Avenue. Chris Wade of the Local Justice Project reported that Lindsay had been hospitalized after a brutal beating just weeks before her death. CNN reported Lindsay's death took place near where Tamara Dominguez was reported in 2015. On July 22nd, a suspected felon was arrested and indicted on Lindsay's murder after being stopped on unrelated domestic violence and armed robbery charges. Denali Berry Skully, 29, a black trans woman, was shot and killed in North Charleston, South Carolina in the early morning of Saturday, July 20th on Carter Avenue. Early reports misgendered Skully. Police investigation is ongoing, but currently has no developments or leads announced. She is the third transgender homicide in South Carolina since 2018. On July 31st, Elizabeth Warren spoke out about her death, along with the death of Kiki Fantroy. Kiki Fantroy, a black trans woman, was shot and killed in southwest Miami-Dade County, Florida in the early morning of Wednesday, July 31st, near an abandoned house. Miami police claim the murder resulted from an argument and not a transgender hate crime. However, Fantroy's mother, whom she lived with, and others who knew her disagreed. Fantroy was reportedly headed home from a party with a group when a teenage male, 17, approached her and propositioned her for sex, which she declined, after which he began shooting at another member of the group. Fantroy ran, pursued by the young man, who then opened fire and murdered her. On the 5th of August, the suspect was arrested in connection with an unrelated case and admitted to the murder in police custody. He has been charged with the murder, second degree, and attempted murder. Pebbles Ladime Doe, 24, a black trans woman, was found shot and killed in Allendale County, South Carolina on Sunday, August 4th. Doe was discovered by a passerby slumped over her car steering wheel on a driveway in the vicinity of Concord Church and Barnell Roads. Her killing follows 2 weeks after the murder of Denali Skully, a fellow trans woman of color from South Carolina. She is the fourth transgender homicide in South Carolina since 2018. Bailey Reeves, 17, a black trans woman, was shot and killed Monday, September 2nd, Labor Day, in Baltimore, Maryland. Reeves was discovered immediately after the shooting around 8 p.m. when a nearby teen heard gunshots and screaming, finding Reeves in a pool of her own blood. She was taken to a hospital where she later died of multiple gunshot wounds to the torso. Police have released no leads or suspects in the shooting at this time. B. Love Slater, 23, a black trans woman, was found immolated inside of her car Wednesday, September 4th in Clewiston, Florida. I don't even want to know what this word means. Death by burning. That's what that means. Whew. However, arriving on the scene in the early morning, officials state the body was burned unrecognizably. However, family and friends identified her from the location of the car, which was confirmed on September 6th by police in a report which dead-named the victim. Some reports indicate that the victim might have been bound and shot prior to immolation. However, those reports remain unconfirmed. No motive or lead has been determined at this time. Those close to the victim have stated they suspect her murder was likely due to her trans status. I have 2 more left, and I have 2 more left, and this is a lot more difficult than I thought it would be reading on camera, but I'm going to keep going because these people deserve to have their names said. Italy Marlowe, 29, a black trans woman, was killed following a shooting in southwest Houston, Texas at 2 p.m. on Friday, September 20th. As reported by Houston police officers responding to a reported shooting during which Marlowe was found lying on the driveway, having been shot multiple times. She was transported to a nearby hospital where she was declared dead. The suspect in the shooting has been indicted for Marlowe's murder, but remains at large and is currently wanted by the police. Williams had been reportedly living with Marlowe. Marlowe follows Tracy Single as the second trans murder in Houston, and Malaysia Booker, Chyna Lindsay, and Single as the fourth known trans murder in Texas. Breanna BB Hill, aka Breanna BB, 30, a black trans woman, was shot and killed at 11:30 on Monday, October 14th in eastern Kansas City, Missouri. The Kansas City police said Hill was killed around the Vineyard Park area, dying before first responders could intervene. The suspected gunman remains at the scene of the crime and was taken into police custody. His name or motive have not been released. Hill follows Brooklyn Lindsay as the second confirmed trans murder in Kansas City of 2019. All of these murders and beatings have been the ones that have been reported. There's so many out there that have not been reported, that have not gotten nearly as much publicity. It is so important to recognize that all Black lives matter, not just these cis straight men and women. We care so deeply about them, but let's include everyone, okay? Trans lives, gender nonconforming, lesbian, and gay, every Black life matters, period.